Okay, everybody, well, welcome to part 4. We actually have some sunshine finally. Yesterday was a horrible day. Bad storms, and they really got it bad southwest of us in Alabama. But we had a pretty bad storm here, too. Here is our stuff. You saw at the end of part 3. We're going to go ahead and get this in a beaker and get it dissolving off and see what we get out of it. And there is still our gold from our original drop, or our first drop of the processors. I still have to go get a tank of propane because I'm used it up doing my lead, or doing some lead. So anyway, let me get this stuff set up and we will get started. Well, hey guys, we're still in stall mode here. You see, nothing's been done, and the sun has moved way over because I spent most of the afternoon driving around trying to find a place to get my 40-pound tanks filled. COVID. They can't fill them because of COVID. Can you believe that? None of the gas companies in a 30-mile radius of me are open to take these 40-pounders in and get them filled. The only thing you can do in my area is get these little boogers out of the cages. So, being that most of the time they're only 3/4 of the way full and they're pretty much ripping you off, I went out to my barn and dug out my oldest, cruddiest, nastiest tanks that I could find and went and exchanged them, because that's the only way we can get bottled gas right now. Yeah, so I'm going to try and get to work on this today, but I was rambling around because I had no idea that nobody is filling tanks because of COVID. Let's see, I went to Walmart yesterday and there was probably 500 or 600 people in there, and the 10 people that walk into the local gas company over here a day, they've got their doors locked because of COVID, and they won't come out. So that's where my afternoon went. Anyway, I'm going to try and start burning these off. I'm definitely going to get this in some AR, and we're going to get to work on this again. So there's, at least we got 3 bottles of gas for a while. Alright, let me get this thing set up, get my gas tanks hooked up so I can melt that gold up there that I've been waiting to melt, and we'll get back at you in a bit. Well guys, it has just been one of them days. I did manage to get, as you can see, we still haven't dissolved our gold foils, but I did manage to get the BGA chips that have the copper tops on them burned off. I'm actually sieving that stuff off right now, putting it in this little pot, and I'm going to set it back on a burner out here and let it burn off some more. This is what it looks like after I burned it the first time. There was a lot of the fiberglass backing left on these chips, which kind of makes it a pain in the butt. But anyhow, I spent most of the afternoon working on old silver, and finally I had to put old silver down. It just kept popping the coils. I had rigged it so that I could use it to burn chips off, and it got to the point that it popped 2 coils while I was trying to burn this little tiny batch of chips off. So needless to say, we're just going to have to do them in a pot on a burner and put a heavy lid on them, and that seemed to work pretty good. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish pulverizing this, straining them off, and I'm going to put them on one more time. So more than likely we'll start burning off these tomorrow, and while I get that set up to get them burning off, we may finally be able to get to our foils. So between running around for gas tanks and looking for a place to fill up a propane tank, working on this thing, trying to get it to work, I just ran out of time. So I was just showing you where I'm at. I'm going to finish it, crushing this stuff up and put a cover on it, and I'm going in for the rest of the day. So I just wanted to keep you updated where we are, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Well, guys, it's another day, and it looks like the clouds are moving in again. This was the leftovers of the stuff from last night from that first batch of chips. I've got them in this little pot, and I am just going to burn them off again, and then hit them with the mortar and pestle again and grind them up as good as I can, make sure we get all the gold out of them. I'm going to go ahead and once again try and get this set up so that I can do these, get this stuff going. So let me get this thing on a tripod, and we'll get back at you in just a bit. Okay, guys, real quick, I just wanted to show you. I know when I unboxed this stuff, I talked about the differences between these copper heat sinks that are on these BGA chips and the ones that don't have it, which are like this. But this is what I wanted to show you real quick. We had 124 grams of these copper top ones, or these heat sink ones. Now these three I'm actually gonna, and there was actually a bottom in here and a piece of stuff stuck on, but these three, I tried to get this off and I can't get it off, and I'm not gonna contaminate this and throw these three pieces in hydrochloric acid to get rid of the lead. I just don't have the time to do that. So I'm going to actually return these to him when I send his stuff back. But there was about 14.5 grams of just these three chips. So I wanted to show you we started with 124 grams. Then this is the heat sinks and other crap that came off of these. So these bags weigh about 1 gram. So I just wanted to show you right off the top what we have had to take out of that. So we've got 50.93 grams, so about 50 grams of these top, these heat sinks, plus 14.5 grams of this. So we've already got 64.5 grams removed from this 124 grams. So our actual starting weight, 64, is 60 grams. So I was just again pointing out real quick, you get a lot more out of these without. I'm not saying don't go after these, there's still gold in them, and they're worth going after, but basically right off the top, 50 grams of that weight is this stuff, which we aren't going to get that out of these. So that's what I'm saying. If you're ever going to buy these, or you have an opportunity to buy them, just make sure that you're not getting stuck with all these guys, that you're at least going to be getting some like this. Now, I haven't sorted through this bag yet. I don't know what our yield's going to be. So far, I'm seeing pretty much all kind of generics. There's an Intel. We know the Intels from previous videos are going to be the best, but I'm actually finishing that little bit of dust off out there, burning it off, and I'm going to finish grinding that. I'm going to do these two separate, just to show you the difference in the gold we get. I may or may not, it depends. I might do them separate. I may end up having to put them together, because with only 60 grams of cap, I'm not expecting a lot of gold in this drop. So anyhow, I'm going to start burning these off, and I'm definitely got to get to these foils today. So let me finish up grinding up the rest of this stuff, and get these started burning off, and then get the Aqua Regia set up for those foils. So we'll be back at you in just a few. Okay, guys, I just wanted to show you right quick what was left after our second burn. Basically, it's just the dyes and some copper. So I'm going to actually go ahead and start rinsing that. Again, you guys have seen me do it before, but I'm going to show you the setup, because there's actually some comments in the last video it said I can't think of who it was right now that said it, but they said, we know we've seen it before, but we want to see it again. So I will set this up and show you how I rinse this off. But anyway, that's what's left, and naturally that that came out of that. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this set up to rinse, and then I'll show you how I do it. So we'll be back at you. Okay guys, what we got going on here, this is my ash, and what I'm going to do, this was from these guys. I actually found one more mixed in with the regular BGAs, but this is the ash from these, the ones that have the heat sinks on them. So what I'm actually going to do, and you want to use a jar or a beaker or anything that you've got that you really don't care about scratching up, because the silicon dyes that are in here, you know, are possibly going to scratch up. You know, if you've got a good beaker or something, it very well could scratch up the base of your beaker and just in general ruin it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get all this stuff into this jar. Now this is just the straight ash from those chips. So let me get this in here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put some Dawn in there. We're going to use this old stirring rod that's all chewed up on the end, and soak this up with Dawn, and then we're going to start rinsing it very slowly. Right now out in the back there on the outside table, I do have the regular BGA chips. We started burning them off. So let me get some Dawn, and I'll show you how we go about doing this. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I usually use a couple 3 jars when I do this, but I'm just going to put some Dawn in here like that. And what we're going to do is try and make a paste out of this, because if you don't do this, you're just going to have a mess and your ash is just going to float everywhere. So this is the first step that I take when I'm cleaning ash. And I may use a lot more than anybody says to use or whatever, but this is how I do it. There are many, many variants and many ways to do this. This is just how I do it. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see that, but I pretty much just have a ball of paste here. Okay, now little by little, I'm going to add some water to this. And I'm going to try not to bubble it up. I'm just going to stir it real easy. Let that ball break up back into just loose material. And like I said, even though I used a lot of soap, if you don't agitate this too much, you're going to be fine. More water, and you got to have patience when you're doing this part. If you don't, you're going to pour out gold. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I can feel now that this is starting to break up good. My piece is off of there. Get my water bottle over here. Let's see if I can knock some of these bubbles down. Stuff out of here so I don't get it wet. And what this will do too is if you have anything in your foam, this will push it out. Even though you're creating foam. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a real vigorous stir. And the first couple times I'm going to let it completely settle out. The main thing is you want to make sure you're not pouring off any gold. After we get rid of a lot of this foam and a lot of this soap, will go faster. But this is my pour off jar. I'm actually going to get one more. I'm going to pour this into here, let it settle, then I'm going to pour it into here, let it settle, then I'm going to pour it into this bucket, this waste bucket over here. So what I'm going to do now is just pour this off like this. I'm going to pour it to about half. Just about right there. And let that settle out. I'm going to add more water. Now, I'm not going to keep doing this because this is going to be the same thing until I get rid of all this foam. So, that's how I do it. I have found this retains pretty much all of the little gold bond wires, whereas if if you don't do it like this, I've done it many ways. Don't try to pan it. Even your gold wheels and things like that are going to miss this gold. You're going to have to let gravity do the work here. Otherwise, you're going to lose some gold. So I'm going to clean this up and get it down to the final stage and then show you that. So we'll be back at you in a bit. Okay, guys, this is what I want you to see, or wanted you to see. And here we go with the beep, beep, beep. You see how this is really clearing up now? Pretty fast. I'm going to go ahead and start now. We still have plenty of soap in there to, handle any surface tension. But I want to show you, and it's going to clear up even faster before I quit. But watch how fast this starts clearing out and dropping. That means all the heavies are falling out and we're getting rid of all that light ash. Alright, when you guys send me ash concentrates, this is what you do. You'll do this part a couple times and get rid of that light fluffy ash and just send the heavy concentrates. But you see how fast this is settling out? Now when that stops spinning or gets close to it, I'm going to go ahead and pour it off again. Now what I'm doing by doing this triple pour off is, even though I'm pouring fast, I'm pouring the light material off. Okay? I'm just leaving those heavies. Then I let this one sit for a minute, pour it off into that jar, and then I pour it in the bucket. Now, doing this also ensures that you don't have any gold stuck to the sides. And then we're going to hit this again. And each time you do this, it's going to settle faster and faster. But you are also going to be losing soap each time. So there's a point that you have to start being really, really, really careful. So, here we go. Anything on the top should have sunk. This one's almost done. And then what I'll do is I will take this, what's left in the bottom of this second jar, I'll take it in and put it under my scope, and I'll look at it. If there's any gold in there, if I see any gold bond wires in there, you can see that see how dark that is? And see how that's clearing up? If there's any gold bond wires in here, I haven't thrown anything away yet, because this is getting dumped down here in a 5-gallon bucket. So if I see one, okay, that's going to happen. But like if I see 2, 3, 4 bond wires in this jar here, this first settle jar, then I can go back to my bucket that I've been dumping all this in and check it and make sure that I don't have any gold that's gotten by me there. Now, if you try to pan this, and I prospected for many years, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I am a pretty good panner. But I ain't that good. I'm not good enough, and there are people that say they can pan these bond wires out. I would trust gravity more than I would trust the best panner in the world. These bond wires are so fine and so small that you're going to lose them. I'm telling you, you're going to lose. If you see gold in that pan, you probably lost as much as you see. People use probably the best thing, if you're not going to use gravity or do this gravity pouring, I would say the next best thing would be a blue bowl, even over a spiral wheel, because a spiral wheel, there's too many too much in here that's bigger, a lot bigger than that bond wire. Even if you've taken it down to, you know, all through all your mesh screens and cleaned it, there's still too much that's bigger. Almost everything in here is bigger than those bond wires. And that is going to displace those wires and let them go out. Trust me, I know. So this is the way I found it's best to do. Just keep pouring, just keep doing it till it gets almost clear. I mean, it'll almost drop out instantly. Check your second jar for errors. If you've got gold in your second jar, then reprocess your material. Alright, I'm not going to keep going through this. I just wanted to show you that because it's just very, very repetitive, but that's how I do ash. Okay guys, I'm going to do my best. We're losing sunshine fast to show you. This is our last jar. Okay, this is the last jar we pour off in. I've got this, I'm trying to get this camera set so that you can, I don't know if it's going to focus or not, but anyway, that's our last pour off jar. There's no gold in there. I'm going to scope it anyway, but I can tell just by looking at it that there's not. There's some, the heavies in there are the silica chips that are crushed up. This is our second, and you can really see the chips crushed up in there. You see that? I'm going to try and swirl it a little, but you see that line, that silvery looking stuff, and then the black on top. Like I said, I don't know how well this is going to focus because I can't tell through this viewfinder, but I'm not seeing any gold in there, but I am going to check it. And last but not least, this is our first rinse jar. I know if you look on the top of this, you see all those copper wires. Okay, that's copper wires that came out of the chips. There is virtually no copper in either of these. So, you know, the gold is at least twice as dense, you know, 2.5 times as dense as the copper. And when you look at this one, you see that layer, but I don't want to drop this. All that work will have gone to waste. You see the gold? So the gravity method to me is the best way to go. It takes a little bit longer because you have to let things settle right. You got to kind of get a feeling for it. But look at all that copper. Can you see that copper? All the wires, and look at how high up they are. They're virtually on the top. So if we had any gold in these, you'd be able to see it. Like I said, I'm going to go scope them anyway. But I know there's nothing in there. I can tell. Not that there's not nothing. There's probably a wire in there. You're not. I mean, no matter what you do, you're not going to be perfect at this. You're not going to get 100%. There's our pour off bucket. So like I said, I can even let this sit for a few days and check it. We haven't poured anything out yet. We haven't lost anything yet, but I'm saying 95% of our gold. I think 95 chip recovery is pretty good. And I'm saying 95% of our gold is in here. There's some that you're going to lose that you just can't help. Alright, I'm going to continue to do all this. I wanted to show you guys this for those who haven't seen me do it before. But that's basically all I do. I let gravity do the work. Once you get a feel for it, you'll be fine. Alright, so we'll be back at you in a bit. Okay guys, like I said, I don't know how well the close-up is on this stuff, but do you see all that copper in there? You know, there are BGA chips. There is gold in here. I did get it switched over to a, you know, to a beaker so you can actually see the gold better now, but there is gold in here. Okay, we can see that. That's obvious. But there's also a lot of copper in there. You know, it could be just from the fiberglass, you know, the bonding underneath. Some of them, there was a lot of fiberglass in this. But also there are BGA chips that have copper bond wires or aluminum bond wires. So alright, I got a phone call coming. We'll get back at you in a bit. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you this real quick. This is actually, I took a tweezer and right on the top edge, I know there's no gold in that, but look at that batch of copper wire I pulled right off the top. So there's a lot of copper in this. So I actually think what I'm going to do is, instead of treating it with hydrochloric acid, and boil, I'm actually just going to treat this with nitric acid. It'll go a lot faster to get rid of that copper that's in there. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. That's a lot of copper. I've done batches that were way bigger than this and didn't get that much copper out of them. And there's still more in there. So I'm actually going to go inside because it's lightning and thundering right now. So I will be back out here in a bit. Okay guys, we are inside. I'm at my desk. It's pouring down lightning and thunder outside. So I wish I had a way to hook my scope up to the camera, but I'm actually going to check this. And like I said, excuse my desk. In between thunderstorms, I've been working on shotgun shells. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and check this out and see if there's any bond wires in it. I don't believe there is, but I'm going to check it out anyway. So we'll get back at you when this lightning and thunder goes by and I can go back outside. I want to at least get that stuff in Aqua Regia today. I mean, it's just like somebody's not wanting me to do that for some reason. Alrighty, we'll be back at you in a bit. Okay guys, I did check it out pretty thoroughly. I did see two bond wires, two very small bond wires, but only one at a time in my field of view through my little scope. So I am satisfied with that. If we were losing a lot of gold, you'd see a couple wires at a time in the scope. So I'm pretty confident that we've got, all the gold that we were going to get out of that batch of chips we got. Because like I said, you would be seeing more bond wires than that. And so I'm happy with that. It's still storming outside, so I'm probably just going to go sit and do a little editing, and I'll get back at you when I can get back outside. Okay guys, I just checked outside, and it is still lightning and thundering and raining and whatever, and I know this video is probably getting pretty close to a half an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and call the video here. I am going to go out and get that stuff in Aqua Regia, but you're going to have to wait till the next video to see it, because I just don't want these going super long. I don't want to bore you guys out. So, everybody take care. We'll start our next video showing our filters and foils going into Aqua Regia, and then we'll continue burning off our chips. Hopefully it won't be raining again. So, we will see you guys in the next video.
I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.